What's up, guys? It's Dan from Coin Bureau Trading. Today, we're going to take a look at Solana, which is expected to get a staked spot Ethereum ETF later today, and what impact that could have on Sol's price. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell. Before we get started, do keep in mind that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just my personal analysis of the crypto market. Your analysis could be different, and if it is, that's awesome, because the more difference of opinion that we have, the better traders and the better investors we're all going to become. So again, guys, to recap, in case you missed the news, it sounds like Rec Shares will be listing the first stake spot Solana ETF later today. I'm still not really up to speed on what the details are. Maybe it'll be delayed. Who knows? That's one thing to keep in mind with these announcements is until it happens, anything could happen, right? You could get some kind of delay or something. And of course, that begs the question, what impact could this have on Sol? Believe it or not, I think we have a pretty good sense of that if we look at the stock of Circle, of course, the USDC stablecoin issuer. And you can see that Circle basically went vertical after it listed and had this massive rally. And if we actually zoom out to the weekly, it's pretty interesting. You can see that Circle is arguably in the process of potentially painting a bull flag here, which would make sense given that we have stablecoin regulations upcoming, which of course is the main reason why Circle has been pumping. And you might be thinking, okay, but why would Solana follow what Circle is doing? Well, just take a second to think about this, guys. If institutional investors, they say that institutions are buying Circle stock, I think it's retail, but let's just say if institutional investors are aping into Circle because they want exposure to stablecoins, how much more do you think they'll be investing in Solana when they can basically invest in the actual rail for these stablecoins, if that makes any sense? Like Solana is the one that's positioning itself for payments, tokenized RWAs, all that stuff involves stablecoins. So, again, institutions, they can invest in the individual stablecoins, like using Circle or whatever other, crypto stablecoin issuer decides to IPO, and or they can invest in the actual rails, which again, a lot of people forget that PayPal is explicitly looking to use Solana for PYUSD payments. So just take a second to consider what happens when you have a spot Solana ETF that launches, then PayPal ramps up the PYUSD stuff, which they already said that they would do earlier this year. They start doing that after this Genius Act. It still needs to pass the House, but once the Genius Act becomes law, which it looks like is going to happen in the next couple of weeks, you basically have stablecoin regulations in place. You have PayPal coming out announcing they're going to use PYUSD on Solana. They're going to really accelerate that, which again, they did announce that earlier this year as well. And what do you think that'll do when PayPal is literally the world's largest payment processor? And everyone forgets that, of course, Solana has connections to PayPal, like through these PayPal mafia guys and everything. And all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, Solana is the payment rail for PayPal's PYUSD and also arguably for USDC. Because if we actually look, guys, at the total value locked here on Solana, this is the green chart here is the stablecoin supply. You can see that the supply of USDC on Solana has exploded over the last 6 months, roughly. It's now currently sitting, I believe, at around 10 billion, and that's mostly USDC. Of course, there's some USDT as well. But that's mostly USDT and PYUSD. Sorry. So you have USDC, PYUSD. All these tickers are getting me confused here. But you have basically the two largest stablecoins that are positioning themselves for payments on Solana. You have Circle stock rallying, and I honestly think that when that spot Solana ETF launches with staking, again, the other thing too is that not only can institutions get exposure to Solana, but they will also earn a yield while they're investing in the underlying asset, which is likely to go up. But again, just the one thing to keep in mind there, it's not like we're going to see Sol go up immediately when these ETFs launch. Maybe it'll be the sell the news event. Again, maybe there's some delay or whatever. The main thing I would say to watch for is when this stablecoin bill gets passed. I think that's going to be the trigger that really causes Solana to rally. And what we're basically seeing now, in my opinion, is kind of like these insiders of the Trump administration working closely with the SEC. I don't think it's a coincidence that Solana is kind of like the first altcoin outside of Ethereum to get an ETF. I really don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's basically some insider stuff behind the scenes that they're setting up the let's say the liquidity rails, right? Making sure that there's a Solana ETF present there, so that when this Genius stablecoin bill does pass, it will be possible for institutional investors to ape into Solana like crazy, realizing that, wait a minute, this is the future rails of the future financial system in terms of payments and whatever. And of course, everyone who was saying that Solana is never going to rally because of meme coins, they're going to realize pretty quickly that that was not, they were really narrow narrow-minded, I guess, in how they viewed Solana. And I actually do think there will be another meme coin season, but that's a topic for another time. It's about time we actually got to the Solana chart here. It's really interesting. The price action over the last couple of days, we saw a rally above the Bollinger Band moving average, which is this middle line here. I personally love the Bollinger Bands. All you guys know that. And what's really interesting about this price action is that we saw a retest of the Bollinger Band moving average on the daily yesterday, which is around $145. And if we zoom out to the weekly, you can see the same thing, that we saw a retest of the Bollinger Band moving average on the weekly, which is around 147. So we basically have two moving averages, on the shorter term and in the medium term, you could say, that basically suggests that Sol is probably not going to go much lower from here, and that it's going to get a strong bounce from this level. And again, when we zoom out to the weekly, we see this bullish engulfing last week, which suggests that this is going to be a green week. Of course, that's kind of you could make the argument potentially offset here by the bearish engulfing that we saw on the daily yesterday. So maybe that could foreshadow, I don't know, something like the ETF lists, or maybe it doesn't list and there's some delay or whatever. So maybe Sol gets another little drop lower, let's say again, like retesting 145, and then tomorrow or later this week, that's when it really starts to take off, right? Like I have to underscore the fact that I'm not calling for Solana to go vertical like a circle stock, like immediately when those ETFs list. I think that they're just going to make it again possible. They're going to open up that possibility for institutions to ape in to the rails the same way that they're aping in now to the actual the stable coins. Like they're aping into the stablecoin rails versus the actual stablecoin, if that makes any sense. Anyway, so yeah, this is like looking really awesome, and I do think Sol is going to do great. Zooming out a little bit more here, we can see that Solana has arguably been chopping, and this is hard to kind of like wrap your head around. Solana has arguably been chopping in a range for over a year, and this is really hard for people to wrap their heads around, and they think that like this is maybe some big distribution pattern or whatever. But I think that this is just consolidation preparation. I think I even mentioned it in a previous video that I think the price action we're seeing here, like over the last few months, is pretty similar, or I guess over the last year in this case, is similar to what we saw in early 2021 before that final melt up. I think we're about to see the exact same thing for Solana. You can see it was hugging this Bollinger Band moving average on the monthly. It needed to hold that level to ensure it stayed in the bull market. It did, and now I do think it's going to bounce from this level. And again, we can kind of go back in time here and kind of imagine that the Bollinger Band moving average was also, Solana also struggled with that for like 4 to 5 months. Eventually got above it, and then it rallied higher. I think we're about to see the exact same thing here, and I do think Sol is going to hit some very high highs. I would say like $500 is an absolute minimum. My personal target for Solana remains somewhere around $1,000. Of course, before we go any further, I do need to show the Coin Bureau deals page. We have a 20% trading fee discount and up to $600 of bonuses. This deal is available exclusively through the Coin Bureau. It takes 2 seconds to take advantage of it. Just click the link in the description or in the comments or in the deals page. It'll take you to a page that looks like this. Enter your email or phone number. It takes 2 seconds to sign up. If you're not able to use Binance for whatever reason, then do check out our other deals. We do have deals on exchanges like Arkham, which are available to US users, as well as other exchanges that are available to users who might have trouble accessing Binance or Bybit or these other exchanges. And again, all these deals are down in the description. When you use these deals, you get a trading fee discount. The exchange gets a new user, and we get a cut of your trading fees. That's how we make our money. We're not sponsored by Solana or any other crypto project. We're just here to give you the tools to basically buy, sell, store. We also have like crypto wallets here, like a Ledger and Elipal and Engrave and all these ones, right? So we basically are here to basically give you the tools to do everything you need in crypto, and you get discounts and we get a cut of that, and it's a win-win-win for everyone, of course, because of course our partners also get a cut of that as well. Anyways, the last thing I want to mention just before wrapping up here is, of course, this might have people wondering, okay, great, so Solana got the spot ETF, or is going to get the spot ETF, and Solana's going to do great, but what about all the other altcoins? I just want to touch on that very quickly. As I've been mentioning for a couple of weeks now, I think when you look at something, for example, like Others, which is the total crypto market cap of the altcoins outside of the top 10, if you think about, just stop to think, like, where are most of these altcoins, like altcoins that actually have economic value? Which chains are they on? They're on Ethereum, they're on Solana, and to a lesser extent, they're on Sui, right? So if you know what Solana and Ethereum are going to do, and Sui to a lesser extent, then you basically know what Others is going to do, right? What the rest of the altcoins ecosystem is going to do. Because what a lot of people forget is that when Solana rallies, then this corresponds to a rally to many altcoins in Solana's ecosystem, simply because most altcoins in Solana's ecosystem trade against Sol. So when Sol's value goes up in US dollar terms, then the US dollar value of all those other altcoins also goes up, even if no one's like actually buying or selling them, if that makes any sense. It's like just the denominator in that equation has basically gone up in value. If I'm explaining that correctly. But anyways, the reason why I'm showing you guys this here is we're looking at Others on the weekly, and you can see that we're in the process of seeing a retest of the Bollinger Band moving average on the weekly, as well as a retest of the long-term support line here that I've been watching now for probably over a year. And we're also starting to see finally a squeeze, and the squeeze looks almost identical to what we saw late last year, just before Trump got elected. And then we had basically 2 months of up-only price action. I think we're about to see the exact same thing, and I do believe that this is going to start imminently, like in the next couple of weeks. We have the SEC literally late last night or yesterday coming out and approving Grayscale's large cap crypto fund into to convert into an ETF that includes XRP, that includes ADA, that foreshadows way more spot altcoin ETF listings. And I do think the main thing again to watch for is the SEC's temporary exemptive relief order, but I'll be covering more about that on Saturday. Anyways, guys, if you did make it this far and you did find that information helpful, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ping that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.